Hey, Shalom, Hakim. And I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash, the one the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of earth. I am the brother Shaman from Great Millstone, St. Louis. I just want to bring out some edification because you had this movie come out on Netflix. You know, if you see it, if you can, see it. Very spiritual. I'm not gonna tell you, of course, the entire story, but I'll just tell you Jake returns to Vietnam, and then they kind of show you, the kind of things that Jake had to go through when they were drafted into the war fighting for Esau, over 40 years ago. And of course they released it now as a parallel to what's going on now, where Jake is basically being used in this new war, with Esau, versus Esau, for world, dominance. Basically, you got different Edomites, fighting against each other, which really up top, with the elites, they're all together, but down here on the bottom where we're at, you got these Edomites fighting against their own government, for control and for resources. All right, and that's why the scriptures tell us what a kingdom divided will not stand. All right, and that's another reason why this place is starting to fall off. All right, and this was kind of the big moment, in the late '60s. Also this is where the truth came on the scene. And I believe brothers talk about. I've heard a brother mention how in the Malcolm X movie, you had men who were standing on a ladder preaching, and they were saying that one of those men, was supposed to be a representative of Abba Bivens. All right, so it's just it's all spiritual, it's all spiritual. That all these things are kind of coming out, because that was a spiritual time. The truth basically came out, and you had different other waves, of course, come out too. But since that time, those other waves, of the Nation of Islam, the Panthers, whoever, whatever wave for not just so-called blacks, but for Latinos and Native Americans, because they get involved with that stuff too. A lot of them are amongst each of the tribes, and they just don't even know about it, And that's something that brothers were discussing. You got people who look so-called black, but really they're full-blooded Native American, because in many places, all the people, the so-called black people would run amongst Gad and Reuben, and then so-called Gad and Reuben, they would run amongst Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right, and they also had that dark skin. And they had, where's that at? I think it's a meme on that. All it is to say, these people were the Israelites. Where's it at? That's not the one. But yeah, you can clearly see she's a Gadite, a Choctaw girl near Tucker, Mississippi. And in all of our families, many brothers' family, they talked about they got a Native American grandmother or, Native American grandfather, which if your father goes back through the real, actual Native Americans, not the fake $5 Indians like Esau tries to have it, then you would be a Gadite or a Reubenite. All right. And Jake liked to say what? You got that good hair. That's that Native American hair, because that's one of the features of Gad. All right, and it's you got a whole bunch. And now some of it is a reach. Some of it is a reach, but this is that's a pretty good parallel. You got a whole bunch of different parallels, man. That's why the scriptures say there's nothing new under the sun. All right. But just to keep it focused on this particular movie that came out, which brothers should all try to see it. It's Spike Lee, so it doesn't. He has a zeal of righteousness, but You know, ultimately, we know the scriptures is where the full truth is going to come out. All right. But one thing, I can't show the movie. You know, they'll flag my stuff, of course. But one thing that came out, let me see, which I just wanted to show a parallel in the scriptures. Yeah, this is in Time magazine. It says, because basically what Esau did was, just like they always do, they were getting their ass kicked, they were losing, you know, they were unsure of themselves, they were trying to continue to promote, you know, dominance, going into the jungle and basically getting smacked on. So they sent in Jake to do the dirty work like they always do. All right. It says soldiers were still deeply with these dealing with these deeply rooted perceptions about who they're fighting next to. Jeffrey said. Matter of fact, let me read a precept too. You know, make sure I read the scriptures over everything, man. It says Isaiah 43. Right, 43 and 5. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far and my daughters from the end of the earth. Okay, that's talking about the Israelites. You got our people scattered in the ends of the earth. Matter of fact, I'm going to find that scene where it shows the dude with his daughter. All right, move out the way.